Well, I must admit I'm more used to the round ball game, Manchester City. But here I am at Manchester Rugby Club, which is in Cheadle, and it's obviously a hotbed of the sport. Why am I here? You'll find out in just 1 second.
Well, I'm delighted that you've chosen to join us here today, Ian. I've got one mission in my mind, and that is to convert you into a rugby fan. Well, maybe that's not possible, but maybe you can be a Manchester City fan and a Manchester Rugby Club fan at the end of today. What I'm going to do is just show the world that's out there a few ways that people traditionally have got involved with this club, and also open the door to some of the partnerships that are going to be available going forward. So I'm welcoming you to Grove Park. So that's Grove Park in Cheadle, with a home of Manchester Rugby Club, but also two other key sports. We're home to one of the most successful cricket clubs in Cheshire. That's Cheadle Cricket Club, but also a Grove Park Squash Club. Again, one that's got a terrific reputation on a national basis. Now, back to the Rugby Club. The Rugby Club has got an immense amount of heritage. 1860 is when it was formed, which to my mind makes it the second oldest club in the world, but I think depending on the source that you refer to, it might be the third oldest or the fourth oldest, but it's certainly one of the oldest clubs in the whole world in terms of rugby union. It's also, Ian will be pleased to hear, registered as Manchester Football Club. So Manchester Football Club was the trademark, was the first registration that we had, and not everybody knows this, but that's the very reason why City had to be Manchester City Football Club and United had to be Manchester United Football Club. So we got there just before them, which is not a bad thing. We are a true inclusive community club. That's across all sports, but as far as rugby, we start at under sevens. We work in every age group for boys, from under sevens up to colts, and then into adults, where we've got three men's teams. We've also got girls teams now. We've also got a thriving and ever impressive women's team. And I think more so than many other clubs in the country, it is very clear indeed that we've had more success both at regional level, both at national level, and in terms of getting into pro teams. Got a phenomenal relationship with Sale Sharks, and a lot of people go from here into the Sale Sharks development squads. Just in the last few weeks, we've had players that have ended up playing for England at representative level, at Ireland at representative level. And we had the awards ceremony here on Sunday, where Luke James of England fame kindly came along and gave out trophies to all the minis and juniors. That's the younger boys and girls, really are the lifeblood of this club. So a club rich in heritage, but don't just take my word for it. Certainly if you look at accolades in the last few years, the season before last we got promotion, the first 15 here, and we also won the prestigious Rugby World Club of the Year. Now, not everybody can win that, but that's a phenomenal achievement for us, and it says a lot about the fact that we work from grassroots all the way up to our elite squad in terms of the men's and the women's elite teams. Okay, I'm now going to show you a few different ways that people have traditionally got involved with Manchester Rugby Club. The obvious one that a lot of people allude to is actually the kit. So as far as sponsoring the kit is concerned, we always need to have a main shirt sponsor. We tend to have at least 2 sleeve sponsors if you're looking at the kit from last season. And on the back, including my very own ACROBAT FCSM, there's scope there for some additional sponsors and partners. So great exposure from all the club photography and great association with the club itself. But in addition to that, there's various other ways that people can get involved as well, to be quite honest. One of the obvious ones that people allude to is sponsoring the scoreboard, or indeed any of the other perimeter boards that you can see around the ground.
Hi, I'm Rachel from Mallow Braid Solicitors. We got involved with Manchester Rugby Club to boost our local presence. We've had great feedback so far from the people within the club and the local community making inquiries and so on. We hope that people will use us if they need legal services. In the meantime, it's been great getting involved in the clubs, particularly the minis and juniors, bringing the young kids through. Hopefully they'll progress through the club and hopefully they'll become really good rugby players in the future.
I'm Matt from Beneficial Life, London. We sponsor a board here at Manchester Rugby Club. Apart from the fact that it drives traffic to our business, it's fantastic to be involved in a sporting club, supporting youngsters, playing sport, playing rugby, the local community. We love getting involved.
Hello, my name's Stephen Bird. I own a local estate agency, Stevenson Brown Limited. I have recently sponsored the under-12s at Manchester Rugby. I have done this to help out the local rugby team, being a particularly popular family-orientated club in the local vicinity, and have found the experience extremely rewarding, and I hope that the children and the coaches have as well.
So one of the things we're looking to do this season is to replace that facade that's behind me. It's the main entrance for the turnstiles into Manchester Rugby Club. An absolute ideal location for somebody to have their brand or to have their association with the stadium itself. And not only is it the main entrance into the club in terms of the first 15 pitch, but the other thing that's extremely beneficial is that we have these major mini and junior festivals twice a year here. And so you're looking at 3,000 plus people who can be here on the day. All the exposure of that facing onto the mini and junior pitches is something that people would give the right leg for. The other thing I do want to mention is the programme, because obviously every rugby club has to have a match day programme. And the match day programme, we have our normal advertising that you'd expect, but we always try and go that little bit further than many other organisations in sport, in that we also have an online directory called the Manchester Directory. So what we're eagerly trying to do is, throughout our entire membership, all the players, all the families that are associated with Manchester Rugby, we try to encourage people to buy from those people who support us. So on any category that you can imagine, we try to encourage our members to buy from those people who have partnered or sponsored with Manchester Rugby Club. And a key example of that is probably what I would call the Pierce to Resistance. Just down here we have a mural which I would argue is one of the most impressive things I've seen in any rugby stadium. It was very generously donated, and donated in the sense of supporting mini and juniors for the next 3 years by a local company called Cars Foods. So we give great prominence to two of their key brands, but we've also put in figurines the images of boys and girls from the mini and juniors section. And the story behind why this came about is obviously prevalent as well, because the classic thing that you hear time and time again, not least because we are a kids first organisation, is the fact that rugby as a sport has added discipline, has added worth into children's lives when perhaps they might have been off doing more meaningless activities or gone off the straight and narrow, who knows. But here we've got a mural which shows the figurines of all of these rugby players enjoying fun under the strapline of Believe, and that says an awful lot about what we stand for here at Manchester Rugby Club. So in general what we're saying is you're only limited by your imagination as to the ways that you can get involved in partnerships with Manchester Rugby Club. The last thing I'm going to show you today is the sign that's behind me. This sign, I was actually involved with the erection of it circa 2007, I believe it was. So it's due for replacement. We're looking for a new sponsor at the moment, and it is actually a prime site. It's a prime site not least because it's on an extremely busy road. That's a busy road with an awful lot of traffic. It links places like Woodford, Cheadle-Hulme, Bramhall, but it's right next to the main arterial route that runs from Manchester city centre all the way up to Wimslow and out towards the airport. So an absolute cracking site. So today we're just giving you a few tasters as to ways that you can get involved. What we'd like to do now is encourage you to pop along and have a brew with me at any time you like, or maybe a beverage, something stronger. But if you want to get hold of a brochure which illustrates all the things we've shown and a few more things besides, just get in touch with me. The email address to use is manchesterrugby@acrobatfcsm.com, and whether it be corporate social responsibility, whether it be new business development, whether it be part of your marketing strategy, I can guarantee you that there's something we can do together here.